Hello, my name's Stephanie, and I'm going to talk today about dogs and dogs that bite. Why should we be concerned about dogs that bite? Well, about 4.5 million people are bitten by dogs each year. Almost 1 in 5 of those who are bitten, about 850,000 people, require medical attention for dog bite related injuries. Half of those are children. In 2012, more than 27,000 people underwent reconstructive surgery because of a dog bite. Who's at risk to being bitten? Well, anyone. A dog can bite any person, whoever, child, adult, whenever they feel like it. But children and adult males are more at risk to being bitten by a dog. Can we tell if a dog is aggressive? Yes. The American Temperament Test Society is a society that does temperament tests on dogs. They've tested just about every breed to measure their temperament in things such as shyness, stability, aggressiveness, and friendliness. They also test protective instincts. Some of the tests that they do, a neutral stranger test, which tests the dog's protective instinct, and their tests are they take a dog out walking through the park, and then they'll perform all these little tests on the dog to see how they react to certain things, such as noises, people, threatening situations. The one test, the neutral stranger, a stranger will approach the handler and the dog. They'll shake the handler's hand, have a brief conversation, but the whole time they will ignore the dog. This tests the dog's protective instincts towards the handler. Then they'll have a friendly stranger test, where a stranger will approach and they'll be happy and they'll be friendly and pet the dog to see how the dog does in active socializing. They'll do a non-threatening test where a weirdly dressed stranger will cross the path of the dog and the handler 38 feet ahead of them. And to test a threatening test and aggressive test, the stranger will move closer and closer to the handler and the dog in a threatening or an aggressive manner. However, for the safety of the handler and of the stranger, they don't get within 10 feet of the dog. A failing score is determined by if the dog shows unprovoked aggression during the test, panic without recovery, strong avoidance. So, shows those signs, then they'll fail. Now, some of the top aggressive dogs that people usually think of are pit bulls and German shepherds and Rottweilers. Well, here's some statistics that in February, the ATTS tested pretty much every dog, and here's their scores. The pit bull, they tested 870. 755 passed. Only 115 failed. That's an 86.8 passing percentage. Their German Shepherd, they tested 3,194. 2,710 passed. Now, the bearded collie, which is at the bottom left of the, or at the bottom of the screen, you'll see they tested 46. Well, 25 passed, 21 failed. That's a 54%. The Chihuahua, you'll see that. Well, the Chihuahua has a 69.8% passing score. And if you look in the middle, you'll see the Skye Terrier. Look at that cute little puppy. Don't you kind of want one? Well, they have a 37.3% passing score. That's the lowest on the entire list. Now, I personally think that the picture of the pit bull in the previous slide was a little bit scarier than that little Skye Terrier, but that Skye Terrier showed more aggression and more threatening than the pit bull did. Which leads me to nature versus nurture. Is it in the breed or is it in how they're taken care of? Now, there are some breeds, such as the pit bull, that have a higher protective trait than others. Little dogs like Chihuahuas and Dachshunds, they have more of a territorial instinct than other dogs do as well. But studies have shown that dogs who have bitten someone usually bit them because of how they were taken care of. They were left outside on chains, they were left alone, they weren't socialized, they were violently or negatively reinforced. They had nothing positive in their life, and they didn't know how to be around other dogs or how to be around kids or how to be around people, so when someone finally came around them, they bit them. So don't turn your dog into a killer dog. There are many ways to prevent your dog from biting someone. Raise them right. You raise your children right. You plan on raising your children right. You don't want your children hitting someone else or biting someone. Well, a dog's no different. Socialize your dog. They need to be socialized with children, with other dogs, other animals, other people, because then they'll know how to act and they'll know how not to act. Don't leave them on chains. Don't leave them by themselves. Then they're not going to know how to act and they're going to be scared and lonely. And when someone comes in their little territory of land that they've claimed, they're going to feel threatened. Neutering or spaying your dog can actually reduce aggressive tendencies. Don't roughhouse with them. Play with them. Play with balls and ropes and stuff like that, but don't wrestle with them. Don't, show them negative ways to play. Show them positive ways, happy ways, not beating each other up ways. Use positive reinforcements. Don't beat your dog when they do something wrong. That's not a happy way to train your dog. That's going to teach them to be unhappy. And protect your children. Children are among the most of people that get bitten by dogs. So teach your children how to handle a dog. Children should know not to approach a new or a strange dog. Don't run away from a dog or scream. Remain motionless when you're approached by an unfamiliar dog. If you're knocked over, roll into a ball and be still. Avoid direct eye contact, and most and foremost, do not pet a dog without allowing it to sniff you first. Let the dog come to you. Make sure that if you are playing with a dog you're unfamiliar with, you have an adult, and if you are bitten, you go to an adult right away. I think that people just think of animals as animals. They don't think of them as having feelings and needing to be taken care of and needing to be loved. So when they get mad, they hit them or they stick them outside and they don't play with them. And that leads to an aggressive dog. And then when a dog goes and bites someone, they want to blame the dog, and I don't believe that it's the dog's fault. And statistics have shown that it's not the dog's fault. Dogs don't just randomly go and, look at a person and say, oh, I hate them, let me bite them. Dogs have reasons behind what they do. They feel threatened. Someone's in their territory or in their face, and they're not used to that because they haven't been socialized with that. I know my Chihuahua was never socialized with children. So now when children come around her, she doesn't know how to handle that. And it's a learning process. I have to teach her how to be good with children and with other animals. And I want people to take away from seeing this and to think that, maybe they leave their dog outside on the chain for too long. Or maybe their dog gets in the way and they smack them in the face. And to think differently about the way you treat your animals. It's not fair for them to have to live a terrified life because you don't want to be a responsible pet owner. Thank you for listening and for watching, and I hope that after seeing this you kind of second guess the way you might treat your animals, or you might second guess how you approach a new dog, and maybe you'll teach your children the proper ways to handle a new animal, because you know how kids are. Oh, puppy, let me go play, and then bad things could happen. So thank you for watching.